You gotta explain the party part.
Them saucy Santana.
Nah, stop it.
After we got air,
No, stop.
you the one said maybe the girl, Saucy and Puffy having parties. Don't act like you didn't say that.
What about City Girls? What does the future of City Girls look like?
Hopefully, the future of the City Girls can beat the City Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that our egos does not separate it, or the internet, or guys.
The internet is already going crazy after JT's bombshell revelation. According to her, Young Miami did more than play bestie games behind the scenes. JT claims that after she allegedly threw out Saucy Santana to Diddy, Miami even tried to S her for threesomes with Diddy and Santana, but it is not exactly a pretty little falling out. According to JT's narrative, she was next on the list of folks lined up for Diddy behind closed doors, while Miami was out here ostensibly playing madam. This is a comprehensive betrayal, replete with receipts, names, and motivations. The City Girls were thought to be a rap duo by everyone. It is starting to make a lot of sense as fans go over every interview, questionable side-eye, and Diddy party video that has been released. Did Young Miami really want to sell her own City Girl to the industry? Furthermore, to what extent did Diddy contribute to this? Let us get started. JT's warning to act up or risk being smacked seems to have been serious. Since she recently broke up with Young Miami and disclosed the true nature of their relationship, she has finally stopped being kind. And trust me when I say that this is far more than a minor disagreement. JT is at last admitting that the City Girls division went beyond differences in their creative tastes or personal occupations. She called it a blatant betrayal. Fans have been pointing out the awkward atmosphere, the side glances, and the lack of engagement anytime they were forced to be in the same room now that everyone is aware of the long brewing animosity. But rather than a small altercation behind closed doors, it appears that Young Miami's reaction to Diddy's release, following his avoidance of those significant federal charges, was what finally pushed JT over the edge. Because when the verdict was given, what did Young Miami do? As if in celebration, she publicly posted the Justin Bieber clock joke that went viral on Instagram. Additionally, that decision enraged JT and others who are aware of the claims made against Diddy. But according to JT, the Diddy controversy is far more complicated than we first thought. So this was more than just a meme. Furthermore, based on her previous remarks, Miami might have been playing an entirely different game behind closed doors. I was taken to Chanel by the driver after Young Miami doubled down and posted 1111. She was paying back to Diddy's payroll, and she was not even attempting to be discreet, you know. She seemed proud of it, but when JT snapped completely off, Ashy was taken aback. Because after all of that, JT finally let the chopper fly, exposing the real dynamics between her, Young Miami, Santana, and Diddy. Moreover, she asserts that rather than her music, the problem started when Young Miami got deeply entangled in Diddy's world and started entangling her friends in it. However, JT claims that this conflict goes back to before the City Girls split up, which is where things start to get really interesting. She implied in a prior interview that Young Miami's bond with Diddy was straining their relationship. At the time, she tried to maintain her composure and said she hoped everything would work out.
What about City Girls? What does the future of City Girls look like?
Hopefully, the future of the City Girls can beat the City Girls. And I pray that our egos does not separate it, or the internet, or guys.
But it seems like JT is now making it clear that Diddy was let to obstruct their path by Young Miami. When JT said that Diddy was after her, how did Young Miami respond? She threw shade on Twitter as usual, adding, "I do not even rap anymore. I retire, y'all." Really adorable, isn't it? But without saying anything, the tweet told it all. What is the connection between Diddy and Santana then? Everything, actually. Because back when they had that Twitter meltdown, JT was one of the first to suggest that Diddy had slept with Young Miami. JT did not stop there, he stated. Before releasing the helicopter, she started to pull back the curtain and expose the alleged shady things that Young Miami had done to her in private. She tweeted, "Then came the actual gut blow. I said," she said, said, and just when folks thought she was done, she closed it with the remark, "Now, fans were obviously baffled when JT started throwing shade at Santana in the mix. For example, how is Santana related to the Miami fallout?" However, now that she is finally making the connections, everything makes sense, because JT recently disclosed that the Diddy controversy went much deeper than anyone had previously thought, and not as a helpless bystander. She is now claiming that Santana was allegedly Diddy's boy toy. In case you are wondering how it happened, JT is directly pointing the finger at Young Miami. She asserted that the entire incident was planned by Miami. But take note, Diddy and Santana have been the subject of rumors for some time. People have been monitoring the vibes, the suspicious comments on Instagram, and the occasional business opportunities Santana kept receiving. This is the first time that a member of their squad is confirming what fans have been speculating about for years, even though JT's remarks are not that surprising. And from this point on, it becomes wilder. JT goes on to say that the main reason for the long-standing animosity between Santana and Miami was his secret. Remember when they suddenly stopped hanging out together? They both denied it at the time, saying it was just their increasing apart from one another. But according to JT, that was a cover. Diddy's backstage operations were allegedly intimately linked to the real cause. According to JT, the real reasons behind Santana and Young Miami's breakup were not the Betty drama or their increasing estrangement from one another. She asserts that the crisis resulted from Young Miami's attempt to pressure Santana into dating Diddy. However, this is when things started to get weird. JT claims that Santana had no real interest in Diddy, especially since he was already seeing Young Miami. According to JT, Miami just kept pushing the idea even after Santana made it clear he was not comfortable with it. Then things started to become weird, extremely weird, until their relationship blew out. And JT claims that is what led to the altercation between Santana and Young Miami. It was not random, it was over Diddy, not over Shadow. Although we are unsure of the specifics of their reconciliation, it is clear that they did so because Santana was spotted with Diddy soon after and was once more hanging out with Young Miami. Even though Santana may have first refused, if JT's timeline is to be followed, fans are now side-eyeing all three of them and wondering what truly transpired behind the scenes. There was a change, probably cash signs, but this is the crazy part. You are aware that Diddy and Saucy Santana have been discussed for a while. Some people genuinely believe that Young Miami was just the smokescreen, the cover, and the beard, and that Diddy was truly flying out, spoiling, and concealing Santana in plain sight. Even more than what we were seeing, DJ Academic jumped in and disclosed that Diddy and Santana were involved in much more. Now that JT is talking about it, everything appears to be coming together.
You gotta explain the party part.
Them Saucy Santana.
Nah, stop it.
We got air.
No, stop.
You the one said maybe the girl, Saucy, and Puffy having parties. Don't act like you didn't say that.
But when it turns out that Santana might not have been the only person that Young Miami allegedly tried to pass off to Diddy, the whole thing becomes even stranger. She allegedly did the same thing with Krishan, which is to say that Blueface's child, Krishan. Even though it is now widely known that Krishan hangs out with some prominent celebrities like Lil Baby, Blueface, and even has some ties to Roc Nation, fans found it odd when she showed up to one of Diddy's private parties in 2023. But this is where the situation gets hazy. Many people from that night were uncomfortable because of that. In the footage, Diddy was seen leaning in to kiss her, but Krishan was visibly yanking away. The videos that were eventually posted were what really had fans talking, even though there was an unsettling atmosphere and it was clear that something was off. A few hours later, Krishan and Young Miami were spotted dancing at each other like best friends at a party, which sparked rumors that Miami might have been trying to set Diddy up with another pal, much like she allegedly did with Santana.
He was trying to recruit Krishan. That's what Diddy and what's the girl Carisha was trying to recruit Roc. Remember that when they was heavily trying to get Roc to hang out with them? I think they was trying to recruit her. She got a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna talk about it on this podcast. And we're gonna get to the nitty-gritty of all the gritty of the nitty. Cause it's necessary. I think them motherfuckers was trying to recruit her. Cause remember they just had her pulling up to everything. Thought she about to slap her. Yeah, remember? See what I'm saying? We don't. This podcast gonna be, cause y'all know the mama know everything, everybody business. So we gonna find out on this podcast. We ain't gonna talk no shit about nobody. We ain't gonna mock nobody, but we definitely gonna explore the possibilities that were going on. Cause they kept calling on her, remember, pull up to the birthday party. come over here and dance on Carisha. Remember that? I feel like they was trying to recruit that baby.
In case you thought it was only speculation, Blueface's mother, Carlissa, actually tried to come forward and confirm. When she said that Young Miami was trying to sign Krishan for Diddy, she was referring directly to Young Miami. Carlissa is not exactly known for keeping quiet, but after she voiced her opinion, people started to take the charges a little more seriously.
And they was trying to recruit Krishan. That's what Diddy and what the girl Carisha was trying to recruit Rock. Remember that when they was heavily trying to get Rock to hang out with them? I think they was trying to recruit her. She got a lot to feel going on. We're going to talk about it on this podcast. And we're going to get to the nitty gritty of all the gritty of the nitty. Because it's necessary. I think them must to recruit her. Because they just had her pulling up to everything. Thought she was about to bless her. Yeah, remember? See what I'm saying? Because y'all know the mama know everything and everybody business.
This might have been the pivotal moment because if Carlissa's assertions are even partially true, JT's remarks about Young Miami were not merely wishful thinking. Apparently, it was a warning. After Carlissa brought up Miami in connection with Krishan, it is starting to appear like a full-fledged operation, even if we already know about Santana, which was already a mess, not a single person, situation, or pattern. The story shifts at that point as readers start to question whether Young Miami was truly a part of Diddy's world, or if she was helping to rebuild it. Furthermore, if she was truly out there trying to recover individuals like Krishan for Diddy behind the scenes, JT calling her a pimp might have been the truth rather than a satirical remark. But this is the point at which things go awry. JT claims that Young Miami's apparent attempt to prostitute her out to Diddy was the final straw that caused the City Girls to split up. The pressure Young Miami put on her, however, was the one thing that ultimately led to her permanent departure. JT made it obvious that she was never interested in such a contract. According to JT, it all started when Young Miami implied that Diddy might be open to a threesome with Santana. As far as we know, Miami had always been more open about doing outrageous things for Diddy, so JT initially brushed the idea aside, thinking it was Young Miami's thing. But when JT says that Young Miami started hinting that Diddy wanted her to be part of a fake three-way with him and Santana, things took an odd turn. Young Miami continued despite JT's numerous rejections, as if to comfort her that it would not be a huge deal. JT claims that when she realized that this was pressure, repeated, uncomfortable, and constant pressure, rather than merely a one-time suggestion, everything started to fall apart for them. Young Miami apparently rebuffed JT's repeated request to terminate the Diddy situation, despite JT's repeated expressions of disinterest. Miami apparently attempted to flatter JT by saying that Diddy had significantly more money than Uzi. It sounded like Miami was intentionally attempting to split up JT and Uzi in order to get her into Diddy's sphere, which made this extremely disrespectful considering they were still very much together at the moment. This was treason, but it just served to worsen the situation and undermine trust on top of everything else that had already been happening behind the scenes. The final straw was Young Miami's celebration of Diddy's release as though nothing had happened, although JT could have stayed silent and kept things civil for a while. Because JT saw it as proof that Miami had not changed, and that she was still contentedly playing madam for Diddy behind the scenes, she spilled the tea. To be clear though, Young Miami allegedly tried to bring JT to Santana and Santana to Diddy. JT was allegedly replaced, shut out, and made to shoulder the weight while Young Miami partied with the billionaire after she refused. Is Miami still trying to support Diddy in the face of all the attacks on him, celebrating his upcoming liberation, allegedly still applauding his desire of freedom, and still making fun of JT as if she were the villain? If even half of what JT allegedly said is true, this is about loyalty, deceit, and the dirty games that go on behind the glamour. It goes much beyond the business battle. We are all left to wonder what more Young Miami has accomplished behind the scenes. Keep an eye on this tale because it is far from over.